Hey guys, how you doing? It's Brad. I'm so excited about my show today. I have Dwan Bent Twyford. Now, Dawn is America's most sought after real estate investor. She started as a broke single mom who had been fired from Denny's. And now she heads up Investors Edge University. It's a company that specializes in training new and seasoned investors in a wide range of real estate investing. Well, different techniques. She's done things, live workshops, weekly webinars. She has a member site, coaching, which she does seminars. She's flipped over 2,000 deals herself. Dwan is more qualified to share her vast knowledge of real estate investing with America. Now, Dwan is affectionately known as the Queen of Short Sales and is considered to be not considered, but she actually is the nation's #1 expert on short sales and foreclosures. She has written 3 bestsellers: Short Sale, Pre-Foreclosure Investing, and How to Sell a House When It's Worth Less Than the Mortgage. Now, her most recent New York Times bestseller was written with none only than Steve Forbes, Successonomics. She's highly sought after and has been, Dawn has also been a top-rated podcast. Now it's called The Most Wonderful Real Estate Podcast. Love the name. Now, The Most Wonderful Real Estate Podcast ever. Now, Dawn has succeeded in a world that has been, mostly sought after by men. She has crushed it. She's made her mark. Her goal never changes, and it's to make a difference in the lives of others. Wow, Dwan, that's girl power right there. I love it.
When I hear the intro, I'm thinking, who's that person they're talking about? It can't possibly be me.
You're an amazing, amazing person. And, I was telling my daughters about you, and I said to my daughter, Samantha, I said, I'm going to say at the end of this, girl power. And she goes, Dad, don't do that to me. She goes, that's embarrassing. I go, girls are amazing.
Girl power.
Girls rule, right. Boys drool. I have 2 daughters. So I say you rock it.
My daughter said when she was little, same thing. Girls rule, boys drool.
That's it.
Don't forget it either.
Well, I say welcome. Welcome, Dwan.
Thanks for having me on, Brad. That was such a fun intro.
Good.
I love your energy. It's like, woo-hoo!
Yes. Dwan, how'd you get started? Talk to me.
Well, so the gist of it is in my 20s, I worked at a lot of nightclubs. And, I turned 21 in 1980. So in the 80s, I was all in on the cocaine and the night clubbing and working at nightclubs and party. And this is how my life's going to be forever. And somewhere along the way, you have to quit being stupid.
Yeah.
So I got married and I had a baby. So I had my daughter when I was 30.
Okay.
And so I thought, okay, I'm 30 years old. I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to be that mom. I'm going to be the Girl Scout mom and the homeroom mom and the baking cookies mom and, do the whole mom thing. And then when my daughter was only 8 months old, her dad and I split up. So it was really unexpected. And, he was kind of a jerk and he took the money in the car and basically just left me for real with $75 in my purse and an 8-month-old baby. So it was sort of one of those come to Jesus moments where you're okay, well, now I'm 30. I have no job skills because I literally partied for a decade. And, I never thought about my future. Right. And so I just really set out, Brad, just to find something where I could work from home and raise my daughter. So I said, whatever I can do, I don't care what it is. And it wasn't even real estate investing. I didn't care if it was licking envelopes. If I could do it from home and raise my daughter, that was my goal. And real estate investing sort of found me. So I did my first house. I made $22,000, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so rich right now. This is it. I'm going to be an investor for all my life. And here I am 30 years later, still doing it.
So you've been investing for 30 years?
Yeah, I've been investing. I turned 62 years old this year.
and you look absolutely amazing. It's not 62 years old,
And
62 years young.
I will take that compliment. I know, I was like, that's why my hair is pink. I thought, you know what, if I'm ever going to be crazy, it's right now. Because now you can be like, she's so eccentric. Look at her pink hair. And when you're younger, it's like, you're such a weirdo. Why you got pink hair?
So Dwan, do you still do deals as well as teach?
Oh yeah. We, my husband and I, in the last 2 years, we are basically rehabbing a town.
Wow.
Like a town in Clinton. He's from Clinton, Iowa. We kept going back for high school reunions. And the downtown is like, it's on the river, the Mississippi River. So it's like 3 blocks this way and 3 blocks this way. And the last time we were there, we're like, man, this downtown, it needs some love. Like people just, they abandon the old downtowns and they go like out there where the Walmart, the casino, and everything's out there. And the little downtown was just sort of sitting there all vacant and bare. And we made a couple phone calls, found out it was in an opportunity zone. And in the last 2 years, we have bought 15 buildings.
Wow.
I know.
You are having a wonderful, not day, year.
Well, and I know Bill and I were like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like, why are we? Because we were just going to buy a building.
Right.
And then, then there was another one, and there was another one. And then and we just closed on one. It's like, oh my God, we have 15 buildings. We have to stop. So we're really having fun.
Are you allowed to change the name of the town to Dwanderful?
I would really love to, but I don't think so. I already said maybe we could have like Dwanderful Square.
That would be sweet. Dwanderful
just
Square?
Like a little section.
Yeah. So let me ask you,
I'm going to change the name of a couple of the buildings, though.
Dwan, I think you're fascinating, and a question I love to ask my guests, especially my high-powered guests such as yourself. What's an average morning for you? What do you do? What time do you wake up? What do you do? What goes through your mind?
Well, those answers change as you age and you make more money.
That's
and
you're
true.
Not
like, so I mean, a decade ago, it's like up, or, work. Right. Now it's like I get up at 9.
Okay.
And I work out and I have some juice and I make a nice breakfast and I take a minute and I take care of my health first.
Good for you.
Which I used to do like periodically, but now it's like every single day, because, I'm in my 60s.
I do the same. I get it. I'm 50, by the way. I'll be 51 in about 2 weeks.
Wow, you look amazing too. And I always took care of myself, but it was more like, Bill and I would travel for weeks on end and eat out at the restaurants and you just like, next thing you know, you're just like, wow, I've gained too much weight. I don't feel good. I can buy my hair. I was like, oh, my damn, my skin. So now I'm more about, I get up, I take care of me. So I don't let anybody like interrupt my morning.
Right.
And then along with rehabbing the buildings in Iowa, we opened some small businesses in some of our buildings. So we have an antique mall, a clothing boutique, a marketplace, and like a farmer's market.
Okay.
Which I knew nothing about. So I just
You're a little busy.
Good ideas. Let's do that. So I have a manager. So like I check in with my manager, what's going on. I check in with my crews, what's going on. I podcast,
That's
I do
great.
recording to do my own things. And then in the evenings,
let's not we'll not get to evenings yet. We were just on mornings. But
my biggest tip for people listening is, especially if you're in like the height of making all the money, honestly, take care of yourself in the morning. Right. Because I got really sick a lot in my 50s and I got rheumatoid arthritis, like a whole bunch of stuff happened. And then, so it's sort of like I was forced to do it. And I wish I would have done it before.
Dwan, I love that you said that, because I'll tell you, so I ask everyone that question that comes on my show, and the really high energy top producers, we all kind of do the same thing. I wake up every morning, take a minute for myself.
Yep.
I do have a juice or a pre-workout drink, and then I go to the gym. And then after the gym, I'll meditate for a few minutes, and then I'll go to work. But I find, especially as you get older, you realize what's important. And if you don't have a clear mind and a healthy body, you're no good to anybody.
Amen to that. That is exactly right. We juice like fresh beets and like we make
Yeah, I love that.
like, oh my God, such a really, people like, ew, but
Oh
you put
no,
the
you throw
recipe up
beets
on the
and
internet so
carrots.
many times and people make it like, that's the best juice I've ever had.
I do beets, carrots, celery, garlic. I add, I add,
Seed,
oh yeah, apples for sure. Oh
same thing.
yeah. Yeah, no, I put it all. I love it. Dwan, what's happening in the real estate market and investing market today? What's going on with that?
Well, as we all know, COVID has, everybody on extended payments. You don't have to make a mortgage, but that's coming to an end. Like pretty quickly, that's going to come to an end, which is really, I feel like it's like going to make like this giant tsunami of foreclosures, because I personally know so many people. They're like, oh yeah, I just went ahead and didn't make my payments. They just like took advantage of it. And the banks called us too. Hey, we got letters. You want to? And we're like,
I ignored them all. I ignored all those. Yeah, I didn't want to do anything.
Do not want to do that. So what's going to happen is everyone's in a forbearance agreement. And that people don't really understand, I don't think, what a forbearance agreement means. And forbearance means that if you fall behind your payments and the bank does take you to foreclosure, even though you might try to work out some sort of payment plan, if you miss a payment, your house could go to the very next foreclosure sale.
That's right.
So we're going to have a giant amount of people that aren't going to be able to make up all those. What do we have, 15, 16 months at this point?
And we were way, there was a record number of NODs before COVID. I do foreclosures. I did them in the recession of 2008. And I did them then, and I do them now, and I go to all the conferences, and we are, look, they're saying it's not going to be as bad as then, which I do agree, but I think the forbearances, we'll see what the government does, but usually the government does everything they can for a short term, and then they go, sorry, there's no more. And people are, they'll start the loan mods again. And it's sad because, you got to really learn from your mistakes in the past and really learn from, America has a very short memory. So
we do. Sadly, we do. Like, it wasn't that long ago. It was 9/11 and everybody was, we're going to stick together. And now it's like everybody's rioting in the streets on the daily. It's like, do you not even remember that?
Yeah, I do. And it's, I hope it gets better and that people find some help. But I think there's a lot of equity in homes. So that'll really help the people who really need to sell. And then the ones that don't, you've got a wonderful woman over there who will take those short sales.
That's right. I feel like short sales are going to be like a huge thing again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people with
no,
all the
they
back
will.
payments,
Everything
they are going to owe what their houses are worth. Yeah. And without that equity, without doing a short sale, people are just going to lose houses.
Dwan, if you were Marty from Back to the Future, remember Back to the Future?
Yeah, of course.
What would old Dwan fly back and tell young Dwan to do more of or less of?
Well, I think so. That Marty's the crazy white-haired one, right? Okay. So
no, Marty's the kid. Marty's the kid.
Oh, Marty's the kid. Oh,
Marty's the kid. That was Michael J. Fox.
The other, Michael J. Fox was Marty.
Who would you fly back and what would you say to young Dwan to do more or less of?
Well, I think I would go back to like a high school Dwan and say, listen, don't do drugs.
Yes. Don't
waste a decade being an idiot, because it's not going to serve you any purpose in your life. And I think I would have gotten started in my business self sooner.
Yeah.
And I would have also said, don't date idiots.
Yes. And invest in Google and Amazon.
Yes, I would have invented like Dwoogle or something.
Yes. See?
Right?
Yeah, I love it. Dwan, can people still make money in today's market?
Oh gosh, yeah. There's so much money out there right now, Brad. People are doing subject twos. People are flipping, wholesaling houses. So many people are rehabbing. So many people are rehabbing right now.
Yeah.
And which I think is cool. I think a lot of people sort of came back to rehabbing because COVID and people couldn't get out. So they're like, hey, I'm just going to work in, like we did. We bought buildings and worked inside of our buildings because, you couldn't go out and about, and we could be free and work and make money all at the same time.
Yeah. Should new investors focus on short sales, flipping houses, fix and flip, becoming a landlord? What do you recommend that a new investor should do?
Well, that's a good question, Brad. Using myself as a guideline, I rehabbed for the first few years, and I really didn't know. I honestly, for the bottom of my heart, I thought rehabbing and decorating were going to be the same thing,
Right.
which it's not at all.
Totally different. Totally different.
After I decorated the first house, I remember looking around and being like, "Wow, this house seems a lot of work. I don't know what to do." So
There's
I
always
always tell
surprises.
brand new people, just wholesale. Get them on a contract, sell them to rehabbers and landlords,
Mhm.
make that money, and just wholesale a couple deals, get your feet wet, get some money in your bank account, and maybe quit your job after you do a few deals and get some freedom.
Right.
And then really kind of sit back and assess what niche you think you're going to enjoy the most.
Right. That's great. And what does the market warrant?
What is the market what?
Warrant? Is it like
There's a lot of wholesaling right now. There's a lot of people, like you said, that have equity, and you get that house under contract for, I don't know, 100,000, sell some for like 135 or 130, make 30,000 bucks, in your pocket, and sell it to a landlord. They fix it up and they sell it maybe for 180, 200, something like that. So the equity is a good thing for wholesalers.
Right.
Really a good thing for wholesale. And it's a good thing, it's a good time. I don't know. It's a good time for rentals. We bought so many rentals lately.
Rentals are great. Yeah. I mean, as long as people pay their mortgage.
Yeah, I know. We bought, and one of the things that I like, and this is me personally, I like Section 8 rentals.
Right.
And some people
it's guaranteed.
It's
guaranteed.
But it is government guaranteed, and a lot of people will say things like, "Oh, I don't want to rent to those people." And it's like, what do you mean? What is those people? What does that mean?
You mean people who are honest and hardworking and really need some help?
Yeah, and Section 8, all it means is that somebody is poor.
Yeah.
There's no like trashy people. They don't destroy your houses. They're just poor, and they're getting government assistance. So I have actually been using Section 8 for about 20 years.
Good for you.
And I've had people living in my house for 15 years.
Good for you.
Taking good care of it. So
they're probably the best. They're probably the best tenants because they're not in a position to buy, but they'll definitely pay. Yeah.
Yeah, and a time like now in 2008, when everybody was going crazy, Section 8 was still paying out that money.
Oh yeah.
I didn't miss a payment.
That's a great point. Dwan, what's the biggest mistake that you see new investors make?
Well, can I be honest?
Yes, I appreciate it. Yeah.
The biggest mistake new investors make is they go to a bunch of Raha workshops and they spend $50,000 and they are told to get a bunch of credit cards and quit your job and full-time real estate investing from day one. And then in a month, when no one's calling them and helping them, they're floundering.
And they're broke because they've used all their credit cards.
Yes. And this is something, I do a lot of I don't do a lot of live workshops this last 12 months, but on the regular, I do like 2 a month. And the biggest thing I see, new people, it's like, oh my gosh, I went to this thing, I spent this much money, I ran up all my credit cards, I quit my job, and now I'm broke, I don't know what to do, I'm on the verge of bankruptcy. So I always tell new people, like, honestly, if you want to be a real estate investor, learn from someone like you, or learn from someone like me, or learn, take some online, whatever, but don't go to run up everything, because it's the number one thing I think that puts people out of business before they get a chance to start.
Yeah. Dwan, what are you most proud of in life?
What am I most proud of? I don't know. Probably my family. I love my family and my kids. And when I married Bill, he had 2 kids. So we became a blended family of 5. And I have grandbabies, and my kids are all in real estate. And my daughter, the one in Ayla, who is single mom, she's like a rock star. She's in crypto and the stock market, and she owns rentals. And I'm just like,
you did a great job.
Girl power baby right there.
See, you did a great job. That's wonderful. And I think, one of your many accomplishments that I think even though you say, you'd go back and warn your young self about it, I think that it really, your struggles made you who you are. It put that grit,
They do. I tell people, your mess becomes your message.
That's right. Great quote.
And I had a big mess. I mean, I was single. I was been doing drugs and drinking for a decade. I didn't have any business sense about me whatsoever. And that disaster turned into this. And it's like, okay, that was a mess. Now I have a message.
Yeah. Dwan, that's wonderful. And how can a new investor turn this into a full-time business, successful business?
Well, they have to go to dwanderful.com and get some free stuff from me.
That's right. No, I agree.
I've got 4 free ebooks that like at least get people on the path and sort of explain like, this is wholesaling, this is short sales, there's a little of everything, like, educate yourself. So I think a new person mostly has to get some solid education.
Okay.
I think they have to be willing to take a risk. They have to be aware of the fact that you need a fairly high risk factor to start buying houses and flipping houses and stuff. And I think they need to set realistic expectations. People that are like, I'm going to become a millionaire in a year. This is get rich quick. It's not. No. It's not. So people say
it's a process.
I want to be rich. I'm going to make $1 million, but then they're not willing to do what it takes to make that happen.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Dwan, why is learning the numbers so crucial to an investor's success?
That is a good question. Gosh, people just, I just jumped in too. So I can't say people just jump in blind because I also did that. But I don't recommend that for other people with the amount of information that's just available just on, there was no internet. There were no computers when I started. We didn't even have pagers yet. They didn't even have pagers yet.
Yeah.
I had to use a map book to find.
Oh yeah. Do you remember when you're on your way and you're like, damn it, page 36, F4. Okay. God, it doesn't.
Do you know how long it took me to learn how to use that stupid map book?
Oh, it was the worst, Dwan. I agree.
Honestly,
it
the
was
day
the
GPS
worst.
came out, I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. I got one of those Garmin GPS things in my car.
We didn't have fax machines to throw offers in.
Nothing.
We had to wait outside people's houses and beat the other agents up, trying to get the first one with the signed offer because there was 4. You were tripping each other, running up the door. I get it. Yeah.
That's why I always tell people, I'm like, listen, with all the things you have at your fingertips, your cell phone is like the whole world is on here. With everything you have available at your fingertips, there's no reason to not be successful or to make a bunch of bonehead mistakes, because you can look up and read and listen to thousands of people just like you and like me that have gone through the trenches and been in the days when there was not, like you said, there was no fax machine, there was no GPS. We had to drive to the courthouse and handwrite files.
And stop at payphones that were dirty. We didn't care.
I hated the map book, and then you had to go knock on doors and just talk to total strangers, and it's like it's just so easy now. So when I hear excuses about like, I just hear like wah wah wah.
Yeah, wah wah wah. And no one. The truth is everybody wants to hear your problems, but no one cares. They don't care. They're happy. They're so happy to know that you're not doing well. And I'm all about lifting people up.
Yeah, me too.
Most people aren't. And it's sad because if as a society, we started to lift people up and root for one another, we would be a much happier, wonderful place.
That'd be nice. And I always tell people at my live events, I say, listen, when you start making a lot of money, I'm going to tell you right now, your circle's going to change. People that are in your circle and even your own family, they're not really going to be happy for you. I remember writing my first book and people in my own family, like, well, here comes Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I was like,
yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Like, what's the big deal? And I even noticed people treated me a little bit differently. And I was like, I have not changed. I just put my information into words and I got a book and they published it. And then they asked me to write another one. But even my own family, like, you should have a job to fall back on. It's like, but I'm building. Right. I built a career. I built an empire. Why would I have a job to fall back on?
You know what I've found, Dwan, as the more successful I get, that my and I think you'll understand this, but my soul yearns for more positivity. Yeah. The negativity I find where I used to be able to compartmentalize it and put it away, I don't have any room for it at all. And I just need to get it out of the way. And I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be near it. I don't want to be around it. And it sucks the energy out of me.
It does. I have cut my list of, not even friends, just people like in my more immediate circle. It's like so tinky tiny now because I just can't listen to the drama.
Yeah, it's not worth
It's just
it.
like, oh, and the few times I let myself like suck into someone's conversation that I'm just, at some point I just sort of glaze over and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
why am I doing that? Why did I do this? Why did I let this person just suck the life out of me for the last hour? So you just really, you're right. You just don't have time for the negativity and the
Yeah,
naysayers.
it hurts more.
And you just don't have time. And you just have to realize that not everyone's going to be happy for you.
That's right.
And that's okay.
Well, that's part of, that's also part of finding your true authentic self is, understanding how people, one, perceive you, and two, how you really want to be perceived, and understanding that not everyone is seeing you the way you want them to. So how do you change that? And how do you, become the person that's okay in your mind?
You know how you change that? Honestly, you stop caring what other people think.
That's right. Yeah. No, I do a whole coaching session on that.
I saw a sign, like those metal signs like you put up in your kitchen or house or whatever. I saw one when I was about 58. And I took a picture of it and I told my husband, I said, this right here is going to be my motto for the rest of my life. And he's like, well, you can't go telling people that. So here's what it said. It said, the older I get, the more people can kiss my ass. And I said, that's exactly how I feel. I am so tired of like trying to fit in some sort of box that makes all the people happy.
You're doing you.
It's like my box. I don't have a box. I'm over here in the like in the stratosphere. I have my own entire orbit.
I love it. I love it.
You got to fit in my orbit, or you just get bounced out.
I love it. And by the way, I tried to match your hair with my jacket as much as possible.
I know we are
I wanted to look good next to you. I figured, hey. So I hear it's a really special day. It's a great day for my listeners because listening to this podcast, Dwan has a special gift. What's the gift that you have for my listeners?
So if they'll just go over to dwanderful.com and opt in, I actually have 4 free ebooks for them.
Wow.
One is about short sales. One is about flipping. One is a book I wrote with Steve Forbes, Successonomics. And one is one my husband wrote with Dan Kennedy called Stand Apart. Some marketing. Wow. So they just opt in over there and they say, hey, Brad, send us over here, and they'll get 4 free ebooks. And it's a good opening, especially for new people. A lot of topics, a little rehabbing, a little investing, a little short sales, a little flipping, a little scripts.
That's wonderful.
It's like a nice eye opener especially for new people. And it'll sort of give people a chance to, look at some different options that they may not know exist today.
That's wonderful. Dwan, what is, and I appreciate the gift, and thank you, everyone. You should really take advantage of that. And if somebody wants to invest with you or they want to take your courses, is the website the best way to get a hold of you? Is there an email, or just go on your website?
Yeah, go to the website. There's a little contact us button, and they can it's info@dwanderful.com. And I actually read all those myself.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I read all my emails. I do have a girl that goes through and like gets rid of all the spammy stuff, and then I read. I know it's like, really, you have a girl that checks them first. Yeah. I get so many. So I do have a girl that like gets rid of all the garbage, and then I actually read my emails and I respond to people personally. So that's people write to me, I will personally write back to them by my personal email and be like, hey, what can I do to help you out? And I'm always have the heart of giving and helping other people, because I know what it's like to be, I was a broke single mom, like I didn't even have a car. So it was, I
get it. Yeah, no.
Dark.
Wonderful. Dwan, I want to say you've been such a pleasure to have today on the show. And I really thank you for being on it. And to all my listeners, make sure you reach out to Dwan. She's absolutely amazing. And for those of you who want, you're amazing. And for those of you who want to log on and become one of my coaching clients as well, go to ATREpodcast.com and sign up for my 1-hour free coaching session. You can also sign up and you're going to get a copy of my free marketing workbook. I want to see you thrive, not survive. I'm going to teach you how to find your true authentic self. We're going to go over different strategies. We'll role play. We'll set you up with people like Dwan if you're interested in investing. And I really look forward to working with you. And as my dad always said, make sure you have an attitude of gratitude. Be good to one another. Dwan, thanks so much for being here. And that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, many of my podcast listeners have become my coaching clients. If you'd like to be a coaching client, go to my website at www.atrepodcast.com and sign up for your free 30-minute coaching evaluation at www.atrepodcast.com. And as my dad would always say, have an attitude of gratitude.